This is Batman. You're watching Kyle Reviewed.
Hey guys, just finished watching Arrow Season 8, Episode 1, Starling City. Oh my god, what an amazing episode. So, I love the way things end with this episode. I'm not going to get into it until we get there, but pretty much the ending here, if you didn't know, obviously about what's to come or anything like that, or know about the comic book storyline, never heard about the comic book storyline, Crisis on Infinite Earth, you would have no idea what's going on. But if you watched the Flash episode before this, you would understand exactly what's going on. So I love the way things are going like that. So someone who's only watching the shows, doesn't know anything about comic book history or anything like that, or doesn't know at all, never heard of the, doesn't know anything about the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline, you would have no idea what's going on just watching this episode. You just go out of nowhere. What's going on? You might have a bit of ideas if you've only been watching Arrow about different Earths and stuff. I mean, they've been playing with that with Black Siren and stuff. So that's really cool playing with that. But the idea of that, you just all of a sudden things just gone. You don't know what's going on here. That's so cool. And then all of a sudden it's a great cliffhanger. But at the same time, if you've been watching Arrow, you know. If you've been watching Flash, or you watched Flash before this, you know exactly what's going on. And I love that. This is what I'd love to see, and this is what I'd like to see for the rest of the shows. After Arrow going on next seasons of all these shows, is things like that. Things happening in one show, you don't understand what's going on at all unless you watch the other show, forcing you to watch all the shows. I think that's what they need to do, is to make stuff more like this, where you have to watch all shows or don't watch anything. I think that's what they need to do, because for the ones who are watching all the shows, it makes it way much worth it and way more satisfying. I think that would be great. So let's get into this. So we start off, we see Oliver on Lian Yu, and there's a Batman mask there. When I paused it looking at the Batman mask, and they showed it, in a clip before, on releasing it online before this episode came out, and it looks pretty cool. It's obviously the same version of the Batman mask from Ruby Rose's Batwoman costume, because they had a Batman mask that was turned into a Batman costume, was turned into a Batwoman costume, and it's a very terrible Batman mask. It doesn't look good. It looks too round and stuff. It's obviously, what they did is, for the production, they first made her Batwoman costume and then turned that slightly into a Batman costume so that they could easily turn it back into just for the one opening shots of the first episode of Batwoman, and then they could turn it into back into the Batwoman costume. So it's okay. It's just, I think they could have had a better cowl, especially for that one shot that looks a lot more iconic. Just a better cowl. And there's so many out there. You could find them, so many prop makers, and sell them on Etsy and stuff like that. So I would like a different shape, because that round cowl just looks a little silly for Batman. But we'll have to wait and see. I just hope that Kevin Conroy doesn't wear that style Batman costume, but we'll have to wait and see as to where things go. So then we see that Moira Queen and Malcolm Merlyn are together. We obviously know, from the get-go, we know something's up. These other in different Earths, something's going on with the timeline. But we find out he's on Earth 2. We see that Moira Queen and Malcolm are together and stuff. And Tommy's living in the Queen Mansion. I find out that Thea's dead. It kind of made me worried, though. Is Thea not coming back this season? But I'm pretty sure Willow Holland's set to return. I think everyone's set to return except for Felicity. What's her face? I can't think of her name, but definitely can't wait to see Emily Bett Ricard. So it's going to be interesting to see as to where things go. I hope we get at least her back for maybe the last episode, the last scene type thing, so that at least have her come back for a day, or a half a day or something like that. Just because whenever Oliver's actual death moment, she's if he's on Earth 1, dying or about to get sucked into a hole or whatever, there's no reason why. Because Felicity is still on Earth, she's just in a different, she's just somewhere else raising their child, right? So there's no reason why Barry couldn't zip over and literally pick her up, zip her back, and they could say goodbye to Felicity for that one scene. And it would only take Emily Bett Ricard's a day, not even to do that one goodbye scene. It would take a couple of hours, not even. So I hope that we get something like that. So we see that Oliver remembers, he remembers everything from the other place, and he has a photo of Felicity and all that stuff throughout this episode. So that's really cool. There's another Green Arrow, and it's Adrian Chase. So that's really cool there. We see Black Siren, and she obviously knows Oliver from Earth 1. the monitors here telling him all, don't interact, don't interfere with this Earth or anything like that. And there's a fake out Felicity, which is pretty funny and stuff, but that wig it looked just so terrible. Surprised they couldn't get like a her old stunt double, someone just has blonde hair to play it. Who they really could have gotten to play? They could have got Melissa Benoist in her blonde hair, like super blonde her hair type of thing, dye it. That would have been really actually funny, as if they had Melissa Benoist for that fake out scene as Felicity. Especially the way they kind of shot it. They could have shot it at like Catco or something and not have her move over and stuff. I think that would have been really funny, but obviously, just a bit complicated for just a little blip there. But I think that would have been really hilarious to have Melissa Benoist play a different Earth Felicity, or, just someone in that situation that's there. Maybe a different version of Kara, who's not an alien, who's not whatever, who's just, a regular person, having to be dressing like Felicity, right? I think that would have been funny there. We see that Tommy is the Dark Archer. That was pretty interesting. We find then we see that he ends up meeting Diggle the exact same way he meets him in the early first season, and we find out that it's because it's Diggle from Earth One, who came here looking for him. So he's still kind of in contact and working with Felicity without us seeing her. So that'll be interesting to see as to how much she's how much she does in this show without, actually seeing her. And if they keep saying, oh yeah, Felicity sent me this, so she's somewhere out hiding and retired raising Mia, but she's still doing her stuff on the computer. That could be something interesting. I mean, we did see that, actually they did set that up in the future when Mia finds out that she's actually still working for everyone from the computer. So with them having Felicity do that, we kind of need a scene at the end of this show whenever Oliver dies, ends, whatever. The last scene with Stephen Amell kind of has to have Felicity there to, to help to do something, because it seems they're still showing that the character's still involved. The character's not shut off and, not talking. The character's still doing stuff behind the scenes. So they need to kind of finish that off a bit more and give us that proper payout that, wouldn't take too long. So we see that we get flashbacks throughout this episode of future 2040, 2049 and stuff with Mia and all that stuff and William. But I assume that's from Earth 1 and not from Earth 2. They don't really show any indication it would be Earth 2, but I think there's always a possibility that could have been, but I feel like it would have been Earth 1. It just would have been cool to get some, maybe I missed it at the beginning, but just like when the first flash forward to the future, seeing Earth 1 future type thing, rather than just 2049 and all that stuff, just Earth, specifying the Earth just to make sure. And then we see that Diggle has a new costume this season, and it's green, so that'd be quite cool. I'd love to see him become Green Arrow, maybe even get a show as Green Arrow, but he could become Green Arrow. I feel like he could put the ring on and then take off, and then we never see him again. But to actually see him at the end of the show become Green Arrow, become Green Lantern, which would be cool. I'd love to see a spin-off show with him, but the CW shows do not have the budget for that. They would need to take the budget that they're spending on all these shows and put it just into Green Lantern, and that would cost too much for CW. So you'll have to wait and see. Now, we'll have to wait and see as to where this stuff goes with the Disney Plus shows. If those things go pretty good, especially with Disney wanting to put up to $25 million per episode, that could be amazing. So then, what Warner Brothers could do is set up Diggle right now as Green Lantern, and he goes off, into space to do his own thing, right? To do his own adventure. And then later on with HBO Max and taking, they're going to be taking the DC Universe app and putting all those shows into HBO Max. What they could do is then take Green Arrow, Green Lantern, John Stewart Diggle, Green Lantern, and turn him in, give him a show on the HBO Plus app, HBO Max service, with a budget of like $10 million per episode, and 10 episodes. That could be amazing. And then constantly crossing over. Then eventually you take all these shows, put it over there, and you give them all 10 episodes with $10 million of budget. Because at Flash with $10 million an episode, it would be so good. All these shows would be so much better with $10 million an episode. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see as to where these go, but I think the future could be interesting for John Diggle as Green Lantern. And then we end the episode with the antimatter wall, which we know of. We know that's an antimatter wall if you watch The Flash, and I think that's really cool. So I can't wait to see as to where things kind of go with all this. I'm excited to see how things continue on. I love the interconnectivity between Flash and Arrow right here. Supergirl and Batwoman have had no connectivity so far, which is kind of disappointing. Not even teasing at all Crisis on Batwoman yet. So, and even on Supergirl, there's nothing. So that's kind of disappointing. But these two being on the main Earth, it is pretty interesting dealing with that. So let me know what you think, guys, about all this in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Hi, this is Kevin Conroy, talking to you from the library of Wayne Manor. You may know me as Batman. I just want you to know that you're watching Kyle Reviewed. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.